Hello, Keeney Rathman here again. This time I'm going to actually show you how I go about beginning the acrylic on carved linoleum paintings that I've shown you previously. So if you want to come over here, I'll begin. So this is actually what the linoleum is that I use. I buy it in rolls, and it's called Battleship Gray Linoleum. And I can cut it to any size and then mount it to whatever size block I want to work on. And I glue it with an archival glue called PVA. And then I let that dry under pressure. So I put a lot of weights on it after I've glued up the back. So that's what a finished block looks like once it's glued on. Okay. And from there, I transfer my drawing to the block. In this case, this is part of the series that I'm working on based on the drawings I did in K Perpetua for a month last year. And so these are some sandpipers. And the one I'm currently working on is actually a killdeer. And so I've actually finished carving that. I don't know if you can see the three-dimensional quality of the carving when I move it like that. So that carving is finished. And so when that's done, what I do is I paint this entire block one color, which becomes the presenting color or the background color. And usually that color will remain in all of the grooves. And then with a very small brush, I use my acrylic paints and I paint along the lines of the carving all around where that background color is. So for example, the background color of this piece was this metallic purple that you can see in all the lines. And that actually then sort of silhouettes everything else that I'll put on top. So this painting and the one here are both in early stages of painting. So right now I'm just painting in the background colors. So what I've done is I've painted sort of an interference blue over the violet, and except for where the grooves are. And then this shell, this is the background color of what the shell will be. It's like if you're looking at a conch shell from the top down, there's the center and it spirals out. And then these are the basalt rocks. And again, all of these are just the base colors that I've got completed so far. So you can see these are quite time consuming. I'm very much a process-oriented person, and I'm really interested in, I guess I sort of approach these paintings like I do printmaking. As I said earlier, my silkscreen prints require about 65 layers. And with screen printing, what you do is you actually make a stencil on a piece of fabric that is stretched over a wooden frame. And then you pass this very thick ink over the screen, over that opening, and that passes ink through the stencil onto every piece of paper in the edition. And then I make a separate stencil and print that over top of the second one, and so forth. And so, as I said, most of my screen prints are 50 to 65 layers, which is why you get those really rich, they almost look like paintings. But being a printmaker, that's what I was first, that has informed the way that I paint. If you want to come in close, I'll show you the tools that I use to carve with. So there's three separate, for the most part, these are the three tools that I use. And two of them are V gauges. So you can see there's a really small one. And this is the one that I use the most to create a fairly deep line. I use this really fine one to do details in like this bird's wing, for example. And you can see the difference between this deeper V groove and the lighter groove. And it just gives me an ability to make different textures. This big U gauge tool I used actually to cut away the sky parts, like that. And then if I've used this big tool, then I always go back in with the V gauge to sharpen up the crisp edges again. So that gives you a beginning sense of how I make these paintings. Later, I'm going to actually do a slideshow for you that actually shows you from the actual waterfall photograph of it, then my drawing, and all the way through the cutting and painting process to the completed piece. So I'll post that a little later today. Thanks for watching.